call into order our Wednesday, February the 19th, 2020 regular board meeting. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Janice Kane.
Present.
Mrs. Nicole Bible.
Here.
Ms. Catherine Kalalala.
Here.
Ms. Stephanie Glenn.
Here.
Ms. Sandra Gill.
Here.
Mr. Ezra Lowe.
Here.
Mr. Rita Stewart. Here. Mrs. Tina Fresh Jeans.
Here.
And Miss Eileen Gilbert.
Dr. Carbone, the agenda.
Okay, first, our first speaker is not on the agenda. He does want to share an update on athletics, and it's our athletic director, Mr. Gonzalez.
Just a couple quick things, and I'll be brief, but it's been a while since I updated you, so I thought I'd share some of the exciting things that are going on. Wrapping up football, we had four individuals make first team all section. Shanua Solomon, Isaiah Tyler, Zariah Fisher, and Elijah Mike. We had three individuals make second team all section: Antonio Quinn, Vernon Red, and Michael Dawkins. And Zariah Fisher was the defensive MVP for this section. All state recognition, Zariah Fisher and Elijah Mike both made all state. So congratulations to all of them. One of these days we'll get them at a meeting to be recognized, but they're pretty busy and stuff too. So girls basketball finished. Although they didn't make the playoffs, they were 9-13. They actually won 2 more games than they did last year. And just 2 years ago, I think they only won 1 game. So it's a work in progress. We're looking forward to that. Obviously, you know, the boys basketball team is still playing tomorrow night at Peters Township at 8 p.m. So I believe if they win that game, they will qualify for the state playoffs. So that will be good as well. We do have a student wrestling at Hopewell. He's a freshman, DJ Lockett. He actually finished 7th in the WPIL last week, so he's qualified for the regional. That's this weekend up in Indiana. So although he's wearing Hopewell colors, he's still one of our guys. So we wish him luck this year, or this weekend rather. And Mr. Martzoff and Mr. Zeno are both coaches, so we got 2 of our teachers leading the way up there. So kudos to them. We did start a junior high volleyball team. They played their first game yesterday at Neshannock. Went pretty well. I think the 7th grade split. They won 1 game and Neshannock won 1, and then the 8th grade I think lost 2. But it's our first time doing that in a long time, so it's off to a good start. We're excited about that. Baseball, track, and softball coming up here towards the end of the year. We'll have those schedules and things out soon. A couple more positive things as far as people contributing and things to our athletic programs. PJ up at Beaver County Dodge continues to be generous. He donated some pit tickets. Our basketball boys and girls teams were able to go up to Pitt, watch a game, and he fed the kids and that type of stuff. So keep him in mind. I believe the Celtic Reds, Mr. Wadding, who was a former school board member, I believe, donated some money to the baseball team.
$300.
So keep those people in mind. Mark Lay was inducted in the Pittsburgh Basketball Club Hall of Fame. I think that was in February. Good things there. And then coming up in April, we're going to have 4 people recognized in the Beaver County Hall of Fame. Verquan Kimbrough, Anthony Dorsett Jr., and Charles Fisher. That'll be on April 26th at the Beaver County Hall of Fame. And they're also going to give MJ Devonshire a Special Achievement Award. So a lot of exciting things happening. last but certainly not least, we're going to have one of our students, and probably first time I ever known this to happen, she's going to sing the national anthem up at the WPL Championship Games next Saturday. It won't be her name's Essence Anderson. I believe she's a
Essence, yes.
junior or senior. Yeah, so we're real excited about that. We nominated her and she was selected, so that'll be next week. It'll be 11 on Saturday. I think it's the 29th.
When is that wrestling tournament?
They're at, I think, IUP this weekend. And then if he qualifies for that, it'll be states after that.
Has anybody approached you about the possibility of rebirthing that program? I'm asking because I was
No, but I'd love to.
on the first wrestling program they had in Aliquippa.
Probably, we could talk about that, but probably the way to do that would be start with junior high.
Yeah, 'cause it's
And
a
then
lot.
as the kids go up, have them follow through. But certainly something we'd be open to. Other than that, Mr. Graham continues to be a big part of our program, so thank you, Mr. Graham, putting his time and resources in. Other than that, thanks to the principals and thanks to you all for continued support of athletics. Appreciate it.
Okay, now we have Mr. Ty
Peterson
Patillo
Center.
and Ms. Betsy McIntyre here to discuss the shift of the project.
How's everybody doing? Good. So I'll be brief. I don't want to take up much of the agenda. For the purpose, I'm here for the 2103 Sheffield Avenue, and I'm requesting an extension to continue my due diligence and putting together a partnership with an organization out of Pittsburgh called the Energy Innovation Center. And thanks to my guest here, Betsy McIntyre, she's with Team Consortium. And not distilling these themes from her, I'll let her come up and briefly introduce herself and talk a little bit about the possible partnership for this site. The mission of the Energy Innovation Center is basically to engage the community and also become a business incubator and create business opportunities around education and workforce development. And she can really dive into that, give you a lot of details on what she does, and then also to the Energy Innovation Center. So, yeah, my request is just to, I need more time, basically. I think I'm moving in the right direction with this relationship that I have with Ms. McIntyre, and then we've engaged the Energy Innovation Center to move this forward. The other request I have is also to have a school board representative be a part of the meeting. So I think we've pretty much nailed down a date, which is going to be March 13th. It's a Friday. To have that meeting with the Energy Innovation Center. And so it would be great to have someone be a part of that, so that way we can just see how we're going to do it, what the possibilities are, and whether or not the site is a really good fit for it. I've already engaged an architect who's familiar with the site, and so I think it could definitely create a good opportunity for the area and be that hub that the Energy Innovation Center is looking to create. I know that they're trying to open up hub locations in the region, and so hopefully this could be that site. And so, so your approval of my extension would be greatly appreciated. It'd be a great boost to kind of keep pushing things forward to get a good creative use for the community that can be here for a long time. Okay. And then, without further ado, let me introduce Betsy.
Thank you. So at some point, I would love to come back and present to you guys on the Team Consortium. It stands for Tri-State Energy and Advanced Manufacturing. Tri-State Energy and Advanced Manufacturing Team Consortium. It's a 3-state public-private partnership. It's the workforce development arm of the Tri-State Shale Coalition, which is an agreement among the governors of Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia to coordinate economic development regionally when it makes sense to do that. And under the Team Consortium, our partnership has 22 higher ed institutions, 11 workforce boards, 9 economic development entities, cabinet level state officials, employer groups like the Manufacturers Association and the Independent Oil and Gas Association and Manufacturing Extension Partnership. So it's this big kind of complicated partnership of all the stakeholders that have a hand in workforce development. So our task that we've been tasked with is to ensure that the region, when the natural gas economy picks up momentum, which we're hoping the new cracker plant will be a catalyst for that. When it starts to pick up momentum, we want to know that the kids coming out of our high schools and the adults who are, moved to other industries and other jobs when the economy slowed can now pull back in and understand how to plug themselves into this new economy, get them the right skills, have the companies coming in, know they have a workforce. So what I'm trying to help Mr. Patillo do is there is a partner in Pittsburgh called the Energy Innovation Center. I think it's Pittsburgh Gateway Partners or some of the development partner. They established this in an old school building. They renovated a large old school building that had just been sitting there. And now it's a hub of activities for training, for commercialization. In other words, universities and companies go in and there's equipment and expertise there to help them kind of take their idea, build it, prototype it, and market it. So it is an innovation hub with 3D printing, robotics, artificial intelligence. It's very cutting edge. So CMU and other major universities are involved in it. So recently I heard that they are looking to expand and establish satellite innovation centers. So since Mr. Patillo and I have been talking about this Eaton Park property, in fact I was in front of you with him about a year ago talking about putting a youth gym program in there. They found another site, but this actually, maybe that's divine intervention, because this would be a great program to have here in Aliquippa. It would raise visibility, tie right directly into the school systems as a pipeline toward work experience and STEM learning. So I just think it's a great program, and my role in it is to help connect Mr. Patillo with the networks he would need to populate it with tenants and help him raise the money to underwrite it through grants and whatnot. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but as I say, we need to kind of get past the meeting on the 13th with the Innovation Center, pitch this idea to them as of Aliquippa being a site, and see what they think. But in the meantime, he would need to keep his option on the property. So.
You said the meeting's the 13th?
Yeah, Friday the 13th, and it would be great to have somebody from the school board come with us.
Where is it?
In Pittsburgh at the Energy Innovation Center. It'd be a great opportunity for you to take a look at it and see what we're talking about.
I can
very.
I can provide that information to Pete.
It's a very cool place. So anybody who wants to come along, I'm sure that they could get a little tour going.
Do you have a time?
It's going to either be 9:30 or 10 o'clock, but I'll pass that along to Pete so that way you know.
So the morning.
Okay, should they accept this idea, is there a time frame that they will start the
I guess we'll
production
find
or
out
repair?
from
Yeah,
them.
we would have to give us an idea of what it would be. But either way, all that communication, I'll make sure of that.
Okay.
What is the size of the facility that they're looking to build? Because that
I don't
box
know.
is very
So
big.
I don't know what they're looking for. I'm eager to hear also, because my territory is 3 states. So actually it's a 27 county footprint where the states intersect. And there's other opportunities there. I understand they're looking to do multiple satellites. So, but I've been trying since coming back to the area. I grew up in Hopewell, and I've been trying to really find things for Aliquippa too. It's why it's a good partnership, and I would love to help bring this here.
So is your organization a partnership already with this group?
In the Energy Innovation Center?
Yes.
So the consortium that I direct operates like a trade association, so we don't do any programming ourselves. There's 3 of us that staff it, and all the people out in the field that I just described, the higher ed, the nonprofits, et cetera. Our job is just like a trade association. We broker the conversations and problem solve and bring in expertise and money. You know, fundraising is my specialty, so to help them in the field do what they're doing. So we don't really partner per se, we just understand what it's going to take to align the systems, the education systems, the workforce systems, economic development, state government, federal government, in order to ensure that there is a pipeline. Because right now, it's very fractured. So, and you know, we've bled population for the last 30 years, so it's a real daunting challenge to make sure we have enough skilled workers to keep this economy from stalling. So our job's really facilitating that conversation. The Energy Innovation Center is an example of a really good program that brought together a lot of different partners and are doing really well to help companies commercialize and bring to market the kind of products that are going to keep this economy going. So,
do you have any information on what they're currently doing and how they're supporting these groups?
Sure.
One
So,
of my concerns is for our displaced workers or residents or our students. One of the challenges is transportation.
Yep.
So, you know, what type of support would come in to help them where we have some of those things that we're lacking, like transportation?
So I think that as we're negotiating with them, if they're interested in coming into this area, and as Mr. Patillo's setting up the program and the site, we'd want to make sure that they're connected with the school systems in ways that really, for instance, CCBC, where we're based right now, the consortium, they have their high school academies, for example, that are in the high schools and overlap. That's the kind of programming we'd like to see them doing as well. Tours, internships, programs in the schools. So we're going to try to put in place that connective tissue. I don't know how much of that they currently do in Pittsburgh. They might. We'll find out when we're there. But what I do know is that the universities that are involved with them and the companies that are populating the site as tenants are successful in what they're trying to do. So it is an incubator, it's an innovation center, and it's doing what it is supposed to do. I think having one here, even if it's a smaller scale, and I think it would need to be because the school they are filling was quite large, even if it's a smaller scale, is still going to raise visibility. It's cutting edge STEM activities, so it brings really good attention to Aliquippa and potentially some good programming for the schools too. Anything else?
Mr. Patillo,
Yep.
how long is your extension?
It's for 120 days.
That would be retro February 1st. Any questions? Okay, I will be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Aliquippa Board of Directors welcomes residents of the school district and commends you for attending the meeting this evening. We also gladly invite your comments and questions. At this time, local residents who would like to address the board will be invited to approach the podium. You'll be asked to state your name and address and may speak up to 3 minutes. This public participation session is normally limited to about 30 minutes. Prior to adjournment at the end of the meeting, residents will be offered another opportunity to pose questions on items that pertain to the school district. These comments will likewise be limited to 3 minutes. The board may respond immediately to general questions or comments if appropriate, but will often instruct the superintendent, the business administrator, and/or the solicitor to do further research and report back to the board and/or the resident. If you have specific questions, the board will try its best to respond either at the meeting or shortly thereafter. The board wants to ensure this is fully informed before responding. So if your questions are not addressed immediately, this does not indicate a lack of interest on the board's part. Finally, to protect rights to privacy, the board cannot respond to complaints or comments about specific individuals, employees, or students in a public session. Once again, at this time, local residents who would like to address the board will be invited to approach the podium.
Thank you. My name is Lanita Desire. I'm here to address my concern in front of this entire school board. My concern is Janice Kane. I sent a letter to the school this past Monday, February 10th, stating that she's to have zero contact with my grandson, Tyshawn Kennedy. Within that time, she has contacted him on 3 different occasions, and both times I had to go up to the school. I spoke with Miss Alexander. I spoke with Miss Alexander, and I spoke with Mr. Mallett in regards to this matter, to where she is still having contact with my grandson after I told her not to on several occasions. So I told her on last Sunday, February 9th, I told her to her face not to have any contact with my grandson. Her words to me was, I'm gonna talk to him anyway. I said, well, it better just be hot. She says, no, I'm gonna have a conversation with him. I said, do it and let me find out. So she's been doing this because I told her not to. So where do we go from here? Because I don't want Janice Kane having any contact with my grandson. None. So where do I go from here? Excuse my tone, but I'm sick of her. Where do I go from here?
Thank you for bringing this to our attention. We will discuss this, and I will be in touch.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Laurel McKaylee. I do teach at the school, but I'm actually here as a community member tonight. In my neighborhood, we have several Spanish-speaking families who have come to live there. So I'm used to talking to them. I visit with them. The parents don't speak English. I can't speak Spanish very well at all. I have voiced a couple times, because I have been questioned about things, because I do teach at the school, that they asked me, because they know that I work there, there is no one at the elementary school that speaks Spanish, that is able to converse with them. I've spoken with the principal, the superintendent, and I just want to bring it to the board, because I think it goes above those two, that we need somebody at the elementary school. I'm answering questions for people and helping fill out papers, and I'm worried because I may not be giving them the right answers, or it may not be translated correctly. Their kids are translating. There was an incident the other day with a bus issue and the police department, and the father was frantic and called, like, he's texting me, and I couldn't understand anything because we're told use Google Translate. It does not translate properly. So I don't care how many times people say use Google. It does not translate properly. He called me very concerned, to the point where when I kept texting back, no comprendo, he went to the Mexican store and had the worker that was there that could speak both Spanish and English call me on his phone to get answers, to find out, because the police called him, he couldn't understand them, and they said somebody from the school will call you. We need to address this, because we are getting a lot of Spanish-speaking families in the school. I don't think it's fair to them. I don't mind helping them as a neighbor. I don't at all, not even as a teacher. I'm more helping them as a neighbor. I want to be neighborly. But I also don't want to put us as a school in a predicament because of the fact that I've given the wrong information or it wasn't translated properly. I really think that it's a necessary thing that we have somebody at the elementary school who's fluent in Spanish. I had a father come in and speak to me, and they allowed me to let him come in and talk to me. I had a friend come in and translate for us. That's great, but I can't call people to come in at the whim. There needs to be somebody. And after that phone call about the bus incident the other day, I realized we need to have somebody. I ended up taking 2 other Spanish-speaking students from my neighborhood to their house to talk to him. I don't want us as a school district to be in trouble because we don't have anybody that can speak to these parents. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody was on the same page and people realize that that's an issue. And I know we have 3 people at the high school that can speak both, but we need something at the elementary school.
Thank you. And as we discussed before, I know Mr. Guzzi, Mrs. Ingram, and I have had discussions. And actually last night at one of our board committee meetings, the topic actually came up. So we are working on it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McKay.
Thank you, Mr. McKay.
Thank you.
Administration. Recommendation to approve the minutes of the January 8th, 15, 2020 board meetings.
A second.
Ms. Colella moves, Ms. Gill seconds. Questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 2, recommendation to approve the Aliquippa Water Authority to purchase the following properties exonerating all prior taxes up to the 2018-2019 school year as listed, and the city of Aliquippa to purchase the following properties exonerating all prior taxes up to the 2018-2019 school year as listed on the agenda.
Second.
Ms. Colella moves, Ms. Gill seconds. Questions on the motion?
See all these properties right down here?
Yeah, these are the ones that were discussed at the last
Right,
meeting.
right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 3, these are new purchases from the previous meeting. Recommendation to approve Raphael and Talia Johnson to purchase 724 Grove Street in a bid amount of $3,225, exonerating all prior taxes up to the 2018-2019 school year. And Michael Draper to purchase the following, exonerating all prior taxes up to the 2018-2019 school year: 102 Todd Street and 116. 102 Todd Street in the bid amount of $1,306. 116 Baker Street in the bid amount of $1,579. Mr. Brewer moves, Ms. Caldwell seconds. Questions on the motion?
Are all these homes gonna be for repair to move into, live, residential?
If there's a note on one of them, let's see here. Doesn't say. I thought one of them had some information on it, it doesn't say. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 4, recommendation to ratify Monday, February 17th, 2020 as a regular school day due to school being closed Friday, February 7th, 2020.
I motion.
Ms. Gill moves, Ms. Caldwell seconds. Questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 5, recommendation to approve resolution number 01-2020, whereas the Aliquippa School District is calling for charter school funding reform. Mrs. Kane moves. Mr. Close seconds. Questions on the motion? Mrs. Engel.
I passed out, Wessel and Company is our state advisor now, and I passed out a letter from him telling you how this would affect us, but I just have bullet points so you can read through that on your own. So they're looking to update the special education funding formulas. The charter schools would have to follow the 4-tier system that the school districts do. It wouldn't be based on our 363 rates, and that would give us a projected savings of $236,000. Regular ed subsidies for cyber charter schools would be a flat fee across the state. They're projecting to drop it to $9,500, and that would also be like a $260,000 savings to Aliquippa. There's other smaller things that wouldn't impact us as much. Subsidy deduction regulations, they wouldn't be able to just take my subsidy without proving what the deduction is for. They would have to follow the same school code that the school districts have to follow. Right now they don't. They'd have to go through yearly audits. The management companies would have restrictions. Money wouldn't be passed as easily. But the letter that Wessel sent explains all that in much more detail. So when you look through that, if you have any questions, please let me know.
Roll call.
We're just getting this information, yes?
He just
He just gave it to you?
Yes.
And so that's always been a challenge for me because we just get information and then we're expected to vote. And we have it, for me, I don't have the depth of understanding.
What you're voting on right now is to back the charter school. The resolution is to back the charter school reform. And the charter school reform is it's a move in the right direction. It needs to be done for the school district to be able to survive. Right now, the tuition for regular ed and special ed are based on our 363 rates, which includes our charter school tuition. They're projecting to remove that, so those rates would actually be lowered. They're trying to make the playing field a little bit more even for a charter school to a school district.
So quickly, what are 363 rates?
That's my average daily membership is that's what our charter school rates are based on.
And this is part of Governor Wolf's budget proposal. No.
We're supporting Governor Wolf's proposal.
It's in his budget. Roll call.
Ms. Gill?
Yes.
Mrs. Bible?
Yes.
Ms. Stewart?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Mrs. Colorado?
Yes.
Mrs. Kane?
Yes.
Mrs. Price James?
Yes.
Under Finance. Recommendation to approve the following reports for January 2020. Treasurer's report, reported taxes collected, reported delinquent property tax collections, general fund and cafeteria fund financial statements.
A second.
Ms. Hall moves, Mrs. Kane seconds. Questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 2, recommendation to approve and ratify general fund disbursements in the amount of $668,763.29 for February 2020. General fund ratifications in the amount of $723,338.60 for January 2020. Cafeteria fund disbursements in the amount of $102,093.38 for February 2020.
Second.
Ms. Hall moves, Mr. Lowe seconds. Questions on the motion? Roll call.
Mrs. Bible?
Yes.
Ms. Stewart?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Colorado?
Yes.
Mrs. Kane?
Yes.
Ms. Gill?
Yes.
Mrs. Price James?
Yes.
Under Athletics, recommendation to approve Danny Bible as head baseball coach at $3,800. Zachary Coleridge as assistant baseball coach at $1,500.
Second.
Ms. Hall moves, Mrs. Price Jeans seconds. Questions on the motion?
Yes, now, this is a new contract,
This is for the 2020 season.
right? But I'm saying, but is this a new contract?
In the past, spring sports coaches have all been given 1-year contracts.
This is for 1 year?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm asking because we keep on getting these guys these jobs, ain't nobody winning nothing. Ain't nobody learning nothing. And we keep paying money for stuff that's not producing.
But when we vote, we're voting for record of what we're paying them. It's not our job to determine those coaches. That's up to the athletic director.
Well, I don't like paying into a loser situation. I'm just saying, if you're gonna do a job, do it. I'm also aware of some other things too, that there's meetings that got to be attended, and the meetings aren't attended. So, I mean, if you're gonna pay somebody, they need to do the whole job.
Roll call.
Ms. Stewart?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
No.
Ms. Colorado?
Yes.
Mrs. Kane?
Yes.
Ms. Gill?
Yes.
Mrs. Bible, you abstaining?
And you're abstaining, and put on the record that it's because Mr. Bible is your husband, correct?
Mrs. Price Jeans?
Yes.
Number 2, recommendation to approve Raymond Pransky as head softball coach at $4,200. Charles Brantner as assistant softball coach at $2,800.
Second.
Ms. Colorado moves, Mrs. Price Jeans seconds. Questions on the motion?
This is girls.
Roll call.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
No.
Ms. Arnett? Ms. Colorado?
Yes.
Mrs. Kane?
Yes.
Ms. Gill?
Yes.
Ms. Bible?
Yes.
Ms. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Price Jeans?
Yes.
3, recommendation to approve Sherman McBride as head track and field coach at $5,900. Sean Patrick as assistant track and field coach at $3,100. DeWitt Hudson as a volunteer.
I move.
Second.
Mrs. Kane moves, Ms. Caldwell seconds. Questions on the motion? Roll call.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Ms. Colorado?
Yes.
Mrs. Kane?
Yes.
Ms. Gill?
Yes.
Mrs. Bible?
Yes.
Ms. Stewart?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mrs. Price Jeans?
Yes.
Recommendation to approve Carmen Jackson as volleyball coach, grades 7 and 8, at a rate of $500.
I move.
Mrs. Kane moves, Ms. Caldwell seconds. Questions on the motion?
Yeah. $500. I mean, I seem kind of light.
It's just a club sport this year.
That's what it is?
Yeah, it's just a club sport for this season.
And that, is that what it's paid for all club sports?
This is, I think, our first club sport that we've had.
So is that what typically, that's what, that is the rate for all, for the club sports?
That's kind of what we agreed upon.
No, that's not what she had. Is that the rate?
Oh, yeah,
That's the normal rate.
yes.
And how long is the season?
Mr. Ledon, how long is this season?
They're playing like a little bit less than half of the game, so I think they're playing like 6 games. A full schedule would be 12. But we did, since we're just starting, we want to see how it went. But next year we'll probably take it.
I'm just concerned because it's a lot of work, starting up a program like that, you know. And then to give them a little bit of money just to run that program. You want the program to get a good start. $500, that ain't gonna get a couple bologna sandwiches. You gotta feed them.
Who decided on the 500? How did they decide the 500? To come to the.
I think that was just a figure. It was decided. I don't think so, because this was the first.
How do we start off in the agreement? Aren't clubs only apply whenever a teacher does it?
It's just an arbitrary figure that was brought, agreed upon.
Question.
They
don't,
But this is an athletic, so I don't, they're the same.
Because the football team got more than that. That you started.
They played a full season, the junior high,
Well, not really.
the 7th and 8th grade, I believe, spring, and I believe they played a full season.
But
No.
The 7th and 8th grade played a full season football.
No. Because some teams
They wouldn't play out, they wouldn't play.
a full schedule.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
They didn't play it.
They wouldn't play them. The other teams backed out. And they wouldn't
Well, I
play.
believe it's gonna be different, because everyone has to have.
But they had a
Somebody
winning
had a
season.
question over here.
I had a question. Okay, how often do they practice?
Oh, Monday through Friday.
Monday
Well,
through,
Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday?
Well, we just started practice because of gym time. So, but our regular schedule is Monday through Thursday, 4 to 6.
And how often do they play against competition?
Once a week. Our season ends March 9th.
You know,
We just started.
yeah, but, I mean, what I'm asking is this enough money for you to conduct practice, games, and every day, and competition?
Okay.
Yeah, come on up.
Can you come up here and speak?
Come on up.
We need to hear you.
Trust me, I appreciate it, but I have been fighting for a 7th and 8th grade program because my high school program is behind because I have to teach them everything that they should have learned in 7th and 8th grade, in 9th grade. It was brought to me like this is a starter up to see how it would go. So that's why I agreed to the terms, because I want to show you that this will help produce an awesome high school team. We have just a few pickup games, which is why it's not a full schedule. But I mean, if we have a full schedule, then of course I'll ask for more money. But I've just wanted this program to feed into my high school program. So at this point, I'm okay with it, just to get it started.
All right, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome, you're welcome.
I have one question. The athletic. Is there any way,
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
No, you're done. I was talking to Mr. LaDon. Is there any way at any given time we can get some of these, athletic programs to have representation at some of our meetings so that we know what's going on and
You mean as far as coaches?
coaches coming, just do reports and talk about what's going on and whatnot?
Do that.
Just, just
As long as they're
representative.
not playing, practice.
Excuse me?
As long as they're not playing in practice.
Well, I mean, as long as they got time just to come and say hi, introduce themselves, everyone can see who the coaches are.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
And I don't have.
Roll call.
Was that it? No more questions?
Ms. Colorado?
Yes.
Mrs. Kane?
Yes.
Ms. Gill?
Yes.
Mrs. Bible?
Yes.
Ms. Stewart?
Yes.
Ms. Glenn?
Yes.
Mr. Lowe?
Yes.
Ms. Rashid?
Yes.
Under Personnel, recommendation to approve emergency day use for a senior high school professional employee for Wednesday, January 22nd, 2020.
I move.
A second?
Mr. Lowe moves, Mrs. Kane seconds. Questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Sick bank request, recommendation to approve a professional employee's request to use the AEA sick bank in accordance with Article 11, Section D of the collective bargaining agreement, beginning the afternoon of Tuesday, February 11th through and including Monday, February 17th, 2020.
I move.
Seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 3, recommendation to approve transfer of Ms. Carmen Jackson from the elementary school to the junior high school as an administrative assistant on a date to be determined.
I move.
A second?
Mr. Lowe moves, Mrs. Kane seconds. Questions on the motion?
Kane,
Yes.
Ms. Gill,
Yes.
Mrs. Bible,
Yes.
Ms. Stewart,
Yes.
Ms. Glenn,
Yes.
Mr. Lowe,
Yes.
Ms. Colorado,
Yes.
Mrs. Price Jeans,
Yes.
As you know, Ms. Jackson is here. Under Buildings and Grounds, recommendation to approve the Aliquippa Youth Empowerment Foundation to use the junior senior high school library for their 2020 monthly meetings on the following Thursdays at 6 p.m. listed on your agenda. Miller moves, Ms. Colorado seconds. Questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 2, recommendation to approve Terrell Lindsay, World Fitness, to have an exercise class at the elementary school gymnasium beginning Wednesday, March 4th through Saturday, that should be June 27th, 2020. The class on Wednesdays will be held at 6 to 8 p.m., Saturdays 12 to 2 p.m. A percentage of its profit will be donated to the varsity football coach.
I move.
I second.
Is that gonna have to do with any of the basketball going on?
No, I double checked the schedule.
They have insurance.
Yes, yes, I did receive insurance, yes.
Well, who participates in this?
Yes, there's Thursday, Saturday, the maintenance meeting is there. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 3, recommendation to approve CYS to have their TIPS meeting in the Junior Senior High School Black Box Theater on Tuesday, February 25th, 2020, 5 to 6:30 p.m.
Second.
Ms. Colella moves, Mrs. Price Jeans seconds. Questions on the motion? In case you don't know, tickets for the attendance.
What was that?
Truancy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommendation to approve story walk at the elementary school on Saturday, April 4th, 2020, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. That'll be the times that the building's open. Usually it starts about 9 o'clock.
Move.
Second.
Mrs. Bowden moves, Mr. Lowe seconds. Questions on the motion?
I wanted to ask, what is the story walk gonna be about this year? You have that ready? Okay. But that's, I mean, I love the story walkers. I mean, it's awesome. It's an awesome program for the kids. I do. I just wanted to know, be forewarned of what the, what it's gonna be about, huh?
Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 5, recommendation to approve Sound the Alarm Ministries use of the Junior Senior High School Black Box Theater, Sunday, February 23rd, 2020, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Cost is $200.
Move.
I second.
Mr. Lowe moves, Mrs. Kane seconds. Questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Just a couple announcements. At your table, Thursday, March 19th is the National Honor Society induction ceremony. As always, you are invited to attend. That is during the school day this year. Also, there's information from the Quality Education Council. They are having another presentation of the feasibility study that was done at Penn State Beaver on, I believe it's Monday, March 2nd. Information regarding the football banquet on March 8th, that's a Sunday, at the Shadow Lakes. And last night, we did have a policy committee meeting, so I'm asking Ms. Caldwell to report.
So, as chair of the policy committee, I just wanted to kind of go over what we were reviewing last night. We have a lot of stuff that we're planning on working on. And one of the policies that we discussed was the eligibility policy for extracurricular activities and athletics. We had suspended the policy this year so that we could resolve some of the issues. We're gonna continue to meet on that and make sure that we can get it in place where it's gonna work for everybody and our students, so that it will go back into effect at the beginning of next year. The other policies that we discussed was we will be putting in an unlawful harassment policy for the board policies. We had to have a serious discussion about board members and our responsibilities and ensuring that we're not overstepping our boundaries and harassing staff and employees. That is not our place. So we're gonna do that through policy and make sure that our policy matches up to what we expect in our staff and our student policies. The other policy that we discussed was a nepotism policy, and this has been brought up several times within the past couple of years. We have a very vague policy that we worked on a couple of years ago, but we really want to detail that and just make sure that it works for our district, because we do understand that we're a tight-knit community, that we have a lot of relatives, and make sure that it's not going to affect anybody, but that we do put it in place for the protection of our district. The other policy was Coach Warfield had a discussion with me and wanted us to have a discussion in regards to drug testing policies for our athletes. We have discussed it. We want to have further conversations with Brandon and with Coach Warfield. I don't think any of us opposed to it, but we want to just make sure that if we do go down that route, that we are very cautious in how we handle it, and that we have support services that if our students need it, we'll have things put in place to help them. Two ongoing policies that we will be discussing next month is we're going to start addressing the bullying issues within our district. It's been a long time coming. We've had a lot of discussions throughout the years. We have to update our policy this year with our 6 schools for PE. So now's the time that we're going to start putting things in place. I've kind of taken that on as one of my tasks this year to work on. I know I've been able to talk to Ms. Alexander and Mr. Malik a little bit about forming a committee, and I really want to have some teachers involved in that and just a mix of staff that we can put a committee together and really come up with some solutions on how we can do some maybe positive things within the district to get our kids to be more positive towards each other and maybe be more encouraging, and so that we can start addressing some of the bullying and taking every accusation as serious and being seriously investigated until we find that it's not an issue. The other thing that we plan on looking at is our discipline policy. We want to make sure that our district policy is going to set the stone throughout our buildings, that we're going to have a tier policy put in place and consequences for each level of discipline that we have. That way that we have consistency throughout the district, that if this offense is in this tier, we know that these are the consequences and this is what's going to be handed down, and that it's going to be consistently done amongst all of our students. And that's why I know.
Skill policy, or
No.
community engagement?
Community engagement, correct. Our Aliquippa Community Engagement Committee, we're going to have a Black History event, and it's titled "A Change Is Going to Come." We have, like Mr. Tyrone Dixon, he's supposed to come up, and he's going to speak on Dr. Martin Luther King's speeches, and you know how the kids. Basically, we want the kids, because we want to know how they are accepting Black history, because they're not. And speaking with some of the kids, they don't think we have history, and we do. But that's going to happen. What makes up in the community or neighborhood for Aliquippa, we have Mr. Michael Hauser. He's going to speak on that. Old church hymns. Black Community History by Larry Stokes, because he have a lot of pictures that lead way back in Aliquippa. Music, education, and more. But basically, we recognizing on honoring the Black businesses in Aliquippa in the past, and we're honoring the present black businesses. And we're doing all this with the help of the Aliquippa School District, school board, administration, and whoever else wants to attend. Is Saturday, February the 22nd. And it starts at 12 to 3, and it's basically like a walkthrough, and you get to hear. We're going to have table by Swickley Valley Medical, and they're going to express the urgency in dealing with hypertension and diabetes. And then we're going to have some business with their tables, with their stuff. And they're black owned, and it's really booming right now with a lot of the business in Aliquippa. So we just want support, and if you can attend, teachers, everyone, if you can just stop by, it'll be something nice. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any more announcements?
So let me just briefly speak to what we discussed at the Education Committee. One of the key things that we are looking at now is taking a look at possibly having a pre-K program whereby we can align it to the K program so that by the time our students are where they need to be, they have the capacity to read. We're also looking at aligning the curriculum so that it is compatible to the state standards. In addition to that, we have definitely discussed an ES class at the elementary level. And everything we talked about. I'm sorry?
Both levels.
Both levels, I'm sorry. Both levels. And we also looked at giving you guys back some of your, we also looked at allowing you so what's happening, so what we believe, no, let me just retry. We also looked at giving teachers some authority in that you all aren't stacked because you are phenomenal teachers. You aren't stacked with students who come with challenging behaviors because we know how that impacts our evaluations. So with that, we're taking a serious look at doing that. You could add.
I just want to add on to that. So we really had a serious discussion with the curriculum and how we need to move forward and progressing to the next grade level. And part of that is we want to utilize your expertise. You're the ones working with our children. You know where their levels are at and which direction they should be moving. So what we really want to do is look at possibly putting in like department leads at each grade level per subject, and then meeting with your teachers at your grade level to where now we can fill out recommendations for these kids and understand where their levels are. And we understand, IDEA and our integration within our school system, and we're fine. We need to meet those requirements, but what we want to do is look at what some of the other districts around us are starting to do, to where now we know we have students at this level, and this level. And right now, we're trying to teach all these kids at one level. So we have kids down here that are falling between the cracks because they're not keeping up. And we have kids up here that are getting bored, that now we have behavioral problems. And we know that's an issue. So what we want to do is balance that out. We want to take the kids and group them and say, okay, you know what, group A, these are the kids that need a little bit of a slower pace. So we're going to put them in a class together so that you guys can teach at one level. And then we're going to take the kids that are reading at their level and put them in a class together so now you guys can teach them at the same level. And then we can take our advanced kids, and then that also will help you guys, so when the kids move on to next year, it's going to help you with your recommendations of, you know what, maybe this child needs a little bit more assistance. And maybe the kids that may need services that we're not identifying, now we can identify which kids we have to send recommendations out and say, you know what, they're really struggling. It's not that they're trying to keep up, we're at this group level. So now maybe we need to recommend them for services. Maybe they need emotional support. Maybe they need occupational therapy. Maybe we need ES support for them. So we're trying to make it easier for you guys, but also beneficial for our students, and make sure that they are progressing and that we're not having any kids falling between the cracks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Administration. Motion to adjourn?
No. I teach teachers here or something. Don't we hear from them? Anybody on staff want to say anything?
Take your time.
Take your time.
My organ's got to get wet. So, I don't even need a mic. I just need 1 second of your time. Obviously, there are a lot of teachers behind you this evening. We're here for one reason only. That's because we still have deep concerns over the leadership at the elementary school. I'm still getting on a daily basis calls, texts, even when I was out on my surgery, still got calls and texts about what is going on, and they may not be contractual, but it is employment-wise. So I'm extremely, extremely, extremely concerned at this point that we should be moving in a more positive direction, and we're not. So that's all I have to say this evening. I'm sure that many of them behind me would probably like to speak, but I'd like to keep it at my statement this evening. Okay? Thank you all. Obviously, you're doing a tremendous job at what you do, and hopefully, again, you will be able to help in this matter. All right? Thank you so much.
Thank you. And as you know, Mrs. Linder, we have been discussing some things yesterday. Mr. Greenaway and I spoke and brainstormed a few ideas, so
Okay.
be in touch. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate everyone. Okay.
Mr. Mont. Mr. Mont, you have anything you want to say? Mr. Mont, would you like to say anything? Yeah, would you like to say?
I'm good.
You good?
I like that. I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
Any input you got?
He's
Yes, sir.
Motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you for coming out.